I just popped in real quick. This is sort of like a mental health check for myself. I don't know, I woke up this morning and I just felt like something was really, really wrong. I had a hard time just getting dressed, getting up, getting motivated, and that's not normal for me. Usually I'm kind of on the high energy side for someone my age especially. And I don't know, I just kind of had a nauseous feeling in the bottom of my stomach, like, I don't know, like something's in the air, something's wrong, something is gonna happen. And I don't often get these anxious, anxiety feelings like this. And I just thought I'd kind of catalog the moment. I'm trying to shake it off. I'm gonna go clean my car and, vacuum it out and go get myself some coffee. It's about almost going on noon, somewhere 11:30ish or something. But I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I'm just gonna try to shake it off and go have some coffee and then go for a long walk and see if that helps me any. So I don't know, there's a whole lot going on in the world. I am kind of a very spiritual person, so I really kind of feel things before they happen, and I pray that nothing huge is going down, even though I know it is, because that's the trajectory our world is on right now. I didn't say that word right, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll check back later on, but I'm going to try to get some steps in, and I think the steps might just inject some good hormones into my bloodstream so that I'm feeling more up. All right, have a great day, and I'll check back with you later on.
Since the mainstream media refuses to talk about this, I'm going to do everyone a favor. Folks, this is very important, and every American needs to hear this. Something big is about to happen to this nation, and if we continue to look the other way, we are going to be in serious trouble. This has nothing to do with wearing a silly mask again, or China buying up our farmland left or right, or spy balloons soaring through the air, or even now, the hundreds of thousands of people pouring into this country and illegally crossing our borders. That's all a distraction, because what I'm talking about is much, much more serious. Folks, I'm a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. I fought my ass off protecting this country, and I've been told by military that a blackout like we've never seen before is about to hit this nation.
pivotal point in history. I'm sure many of you sense that. And it's not to be understated. We're undergoing such a transition in the world. Many have compared the coming events to like the parting of the Red Sea. Well, this is far beyond that. The scope is much bigger. It covers the entire planet as we're nearing a point of the collapse. And they announced that in the last 12 months, $200 billion in deposits have left Chase Bank. This is huge, folks. We have the makings of a banking apocalypse unlike anything we've ever seen in our lives. The military's been on mass movement throughout the United States. There have been heavily movements in 27 states. There's more coming. We've even seen it here locally. They were literally driving a tank down the main drag here in town. It was unbelievable. So a lot of choppers going overhead, military aircraft. Everybody's like, what's going on? Well, we're actually in the midst of the roundup, and they're kind of doing this strategically because they can't. This isn't something you can do in one day. It's just too big for that. So they're doing it in pieces. And what we're beginning to hear reports of is that internet outages are happening in some areas for an hour, for 2 hours, or 3 hours, and it comes back on. Well, these dark periods are so that they can do their stuff that they need to do in terms of taking these people into custody and can stop their communications with any of the outside people. So you're going to continue to hear of this. You will probably begin to hear of testing of the emergency broadcast system in various areas. There was actually some testing going on in Florida today of the EBS. This is all preparation for the EBS that goes nationwide when we get to that point. So Germany is on the just a trigger edge of complete financial collapse. They're not saying anything about this, but they are in big trouble. Deutsche Bank, big trouble. When this begins to hit, the first thing that will happen is all credit will freeze up. Well, what does that mean? That means suddenly your plastic doesn't work anymore. We could possibly hit the point of the wealth transfer at the movement that this is moving in terms of activity and what's being exposed. Things could move very rapidly. What I do expect in terms of some of the historical assets and revaluation of currencies is that some of that will take place during the quiet time. In other words, when the EBS happens, there's going to be stay in your homes. There's going to be 10 days of communication blackout, or at least that's what we're hearing. And there could be during that time even appointments being made and transactions being done very quietly in the background. This will be all with heavy NDAs. No one's supposed to talk about their transactions, talk about where they get their money or anything like this. It's going to take some time to work through that. Some of the things that we've been seeing over the last week here is train derailments continuing. We've had 3 additional quite nasty ones, spilling chemicals and stuff. The deep state has been using trains to move, shall we say, cargo that they shouldn't be moving. And so there's some of these are having to be initiated, unfortunately, to stop the movements of this stuff. And others is the deep state trying to cause a catastrophe, such as chemicals in the water, in the ground, something of this nature that they can distract the public with of some new catastrophe while they carry on what they're doing. So these things are all evidences of the war that we're underway here, and that the good guys are winning. I want you guys to realize we're winning every day now. There are battles being won, And you should not be discouraged. In fact, you should be more excited than ever right now, because there's nothing they can do to stop the impending justice. It's barreling down on them like a freight train, and they don't know how to stop it. But it's exciting that we're getting to this point, that we've gotten. This was kind of a top-down thing. They had to work their way down, but now we're getting into those middle people, those lower-level deep staters. By the time we get to EBS, there won't be any big names to round up. They've already been handled. Okay, so that'll be good news, because I think when people find out, when things are revealed and they realize what kind of criminality was going on, what kind of things were happening, and especially the tie-in with the children and what was going on with that, they're going to be angry. And so how do you calm the masses down that are angry? Well, you begin tribunals and you begin justice, so that they feel that it's been taken care of. So we can expect that to come.
You just know that we are fucked when a billionaire comes out and warns the country. Just watch this shit.
Unplug the country. And then you have real casualties, and mass chaos, like true chaos.
Oh, yeah.
People are not prepared for this. They haven't thought it through. Our leaders have not prepared them for it at all. It's like, oh, it's on your iPhone. You don't have an iPhone, and there's no electricity, and there's no water. There is no one there to call, like,
right.
Period. And then people start behaving in ways that are ridiculous, and dead people and people getting shot. I was just like, this cannot be America. And that could happen. That's not science fiction. That could happen soon.
Imagine an actual disaster like this happening, where the chief of the FBI that Trump just appointed is actively trying to warn us about.
How vulnerable is our power grid?
It's probably the most vulnerable thing we have. Our power grids are like 60, 70 years old.
It's going to be cool when the lights go out.
Exactly. And people are like, oh, that just happens in that movie Die Hard or something. Like, no, it's not that hard to shut off a power grid through a cyber attack.
How vulnerable is it to outside attacks?
It's big, because once they hit it, we can't fix it fast. I mean, look, we just saw Paris during the Olympics just got blacked out. Ain't a coincidence.
If the grid goes down, we'll eventually just ourselves out of desperation. There will be no food, there'll be no water, there'll be no medical, there'll be no communication. How likely is that method of attack, do you think?
Something's gonna happen.
When the grid does go down, information's gonna be the most powerful resource, because nobody's gonna know what to do.
No joke.
Real quick, serious talk, fam. Real quick. How many people are waiting for the first riot to happen? Because there's about to be a lot of rioting in the streets. I'm not kidding, man. Shit's about to go down. I can feel it. Just saying. Stay safe, protect your family. Shit's about to go down.